In the quiet, tree-lined streets of Oak Haven, an ordinary Tuesday evening was shattered for Mr. Alastair Finch. He was on his way home from visiting his ailing mother. Seatbelt securely fastened, headlights cutting through the twilight. Every traffic law was meticulously observed. Yet, as he neared an intersection, a sudden, jarring halt. Two police cruisers, siren silent, abruptly blocked his path. Before mere 10 seconds had passed, two officers, Thorne and Vance, erupted from their vehicles, their faces contorted with fury. Without a single word of explanation or a request for identification, they began to pound violently on Alastair's window with their flashlights. "Get out of the car, trash!" Officer Thorne snarled, his voice raw with contempt. Confused but remarkably composed, Alastair calmly raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "Officer, have I done something wrong?" he inquired, his voice even despite the escalating tension. His question was met not with an answer, but with a brutal, sickening response. In a sudden, unbridled fit of rage, Officer Thorne shattered the driver's side window with his elbow, sending shards of glass flying. Simultaneously, Officer Vance delivered a vicious, open-handed slap, the impact echoing in the stillness, sending glass and Alastair's blood spraying. Stunned, bleeding, and surrounded by shattered glass, Alastair offered no resistance. The street, now eerily silent except for the crunch of glass underfoot, began to draw neighbors. Drawn by the commotion, they emerged from their homes, their cell phones already raised, recording. The officers, however, seemed utterly unfazed by their growing audience. They yanked Alastair from his car, throwing him roughly to the ground, a heavy knee pressed into his neck, suffocating him as they snapped handcuffs onto his wrists. "Lying scum! Where are you hiding? Must be drugs." Officer Thorne bellowed, already ransacking the vehicle without a shred of a warrant. Alastair, struggling to draw breath under the crushing weight, knew that a single wrong move could cost him his life. "Please, I just want to know what's happening," he gasped, his plea met with a stream of spit landing on his face. Meanwhile, Officer Vance, searching Alastair's wallet, discovered an unusual ID. It bore a distinct government seal and a curious red code. His demeanor instantly shifted. A palpable tension gripped him. Officer Thorne, oblivious, continued his frantic search under the seats, desperate to unearth anything illegal, anything at all, to justify their monstrous brutality. There was nothing. An elderly passerby, Mr. Silas Croft, stopped dead in his tracks, his eyes widening in recognition. "What are you doing? Do you know who this is?" he demanded, his voice echoing with incredulity and outrage. The officers ignored him, attempting to physically push the old man away. All the while, the surrounding cell phones continued to record a silent, damning testament. Despite the pain and humiliation, Alastair maintained a steady, controlled gaze. He neither cursed nor screamed. He simply waited. Officer Vance, the younger of the two, began to show clear signs of nervousness, particularly after noticing a neighbor actively live-streaming the incident. "This isn't right, Rick," he whispered urgently to Officer Thorne, who merely scoffed. "It started, now we finish it." To them, Alastair was just another target, another individual they could humiliate, assault, and make disappear behind a veil of legal loopholes. But the palpable tension in the air slowly, subtly began to shift. Still on the ground, Alastair managed to speak, his voice surprisingly clear. "Everything's in the blue briefcase." Officer Thorne quickly flung it open, expecting drugs, weapons, anything illicit. Instead, he found sealed documents, a federal insignia, and a letter signed by the Secretary of National Security. His face contorted, rage instantly morphing into absolute, unadulterated panic. "What is this?" he stammered, his bravado utterly gone. Officer Vance leaned in, saw the contents, and froze, his face draining of color. Both officers recoiled as if burned. "Oh, no," one of them blurted, a distinct stutter creeping into his voice. The situation was spiraling wildly out of their control when a neighbor's voice cut through the chaos, loud and clear. "You just assaulted a federal agent, you idiots." The scene erupted. Shouts, flashing phone screens, people pressing closer. The officers were lost, their arrogance replaced by dawning terror. Alistair remained handcuffed, his shirt stained with his own blood. But his gaze now held something profoundly different. Control, authority, the very things they had dismissed due to their prejudice. Officer Vance frantically fumbled for his radio while Officer Thorne hissed, "We have to fix this now." Just then, a third, unmarked black car glided silently to a stop. Two impeccably dressed figures emerged, striding purposefully towards the scene. The officers froze. "They've already reported us," one muttered, a tremor in his voice. The suited individuals approached Alistair. Without a glance at the officers, they produced a special key and unlocked his handcuffs. One of them leaned down. "Are you all right, Director?" A collective gasp swept through the crowd. The officers swallowed hard, their faces chalk white. Officer Thorne stammered, "We didn't know who he was. He didn't cooperate." But no one was listening. Alistair slowly rose, dusting himself off, all eyes fixed on him with newfound, undeniable respect. Officer Vance tentatively extended a trembling hand, but Alistair didn't take it. His face hardened. He didn't need to shout or threaten. Authority now radiated from him. Just as Officer Thorne began, "Please listen to me. It was a misunderstanding." One of the suited men interrupted him, his voice cutting like ice. "Do you have any idea what you just done? You're finished." The officers recoiled as if a sentence had been pronounced. Alistair remained silent, standing tall, his eyes fixed on them. The officer who had slapped him was now sweating profusely, his face pale, muttering incoherent excuses. Officer Vance tried to speak to one of the suited men, but was met with a chilling warning. "Everything you say from this moment forward will be used in an investigation that has already begun. And believe me, you have no idea who you touched." The street was now swarming with witnesses, neighbors, passers-by, all recording, many openly crying in frustration at what they had seen. The suited men asked everyone to step back except for the involved officers. One of them pulled out his phone and made a video call. A woman with a stern, unyielding face, identified as a district attorney, appeared on the screen. 3 words were all it took: immediate arrest, federal abuse. The shift was brutal, instant. The very officers who minutes earlier had felt untouchable were now handcuffed in plain sight. The younger officer, Officer Vance, began to sob as he was filmed, pleading, "Please, I have children." I didn't know who he was, but it was too late. Alistair didn't need to say a word. The truth, captured on a dozen phones, spoke for itself. While one of the suited men took statements from witnesses, the other accompanied Alistair to his damaged car. "We know this doesn't erase what they did, sir," he said, his voice grave. "But this will change many things, starting with those 2. Alistair nodded slowly, a silent acknowledgement. His mother still waited at home, unaware that her son had just been the victim of racial and institutional aggression. Meanwhile, the arrested officers were loaded into an unmarked patrol car, stripped of any privilege. The humiliation was public, absolute. A female neighbor cried out, her voice raw with emotion, "This is how it feels when they don't listen to you because of the color of your skin." The aftermath. Justice and awareness hours later, at the police station, Alistair was summoned to a special room. Inside, he found a superior officer of the aggressors waiting for him. "Mr. Director, first and foremost, we owe you an institutional apology." The voice trembled, not with respect, but with unmistakable fear. "An apology won't be enough," Alistair replied, his voice calm but firm. "You have failed, and not just with me. This happens every day, but today it was recorded." The room fell silent, the weight of his words hanging heavy in the air. Alistair stood firm. He wasn't seeking revenge, but justice, and that demanded exemplary consequences. In the days that followed, the video of the police abuse went viral. Millions watched, not only for its sheer brutality, but for the powerful message it carried. No one should be judged by appearance. Social media overflowed with support. From everyday people to public figures, Alistair's calm presence became a symbol of silent dignity and quiet strength. The 2 officers quickly became the focus of a federal investigation. Their careers, once seemingly secure, unraveled in days. Their arrogance, their casual cruelty, had become their downfall. Alistair appeared on national television. When asked why he hadn't fought back, he said calmly, "Because if I had, I'd be dead today. I don't need to scream for the world to hear. My truth records itself." The phrase struck a deep chord, resonating with countless individuals. Pressure mounted on institutions to enact real, tangible change, not just empty promises, but reforms backed by names, faces, and undeniable evidence. A month later, Alistair returned to the scene. Neighbors embraced him, their gratitude palpable. A small child, looking up at him with wide, admiring eyes, said, "When I grow up, I want to be like you, someone strong without violence." For the first time in weeks, Alistair smiled, not from pride, but from a burgeoning sense of hope. He hadn't just sought justice. He had sparked awareness, a ripple that promised to become a wave. The officers were found guilty of abuse, assault, and racial discrimination. They lost their jobs and the respect of their community. One of them, Officer Vance, wrote an apology letter, but Alistair never replied. Not from hate, but from understanding. Forgiveness is not spoken, it's earned. You never truly know who someone is behind a quiet face. Appearances deceive, but dignity must never be compromised.